Hello, my name is Fiona Steil-Antoni. I'm from Luxembourg, where I was born and raised. I started playing chess when I was 9 and have since represented Luxembourg in numerous international tournaments, including 7 chess Olympiads.
When I first started playing, for some reason I thought I could be a grandmaster. I don't know why.
When did
Because
you
I trained
start
a lot.
playing?
What was that?
When did you start playing?
About 3 years ago. It was like the Queen's Gambit, typical era when everyone started playing. But when I watched it, I was like, hey, I knew that's what I wanted to do. And I thought I could be a grandmaster. You know, I hired a coach. I train every day, like 7 days a week at 5 a.m. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be a grandmaster. That's what I thought. Till I started playing them. Then I realized, okay, these guys are like aliens. It's very improbable. It took me a while to come to that realization, just being a competitor. But after a while, I was like, okay, yeah, these guys are aliens. I don't think this is something that is realistic, you know? But then I was like, well, I can at least learn from them and speak to them, which I thought was cool too. Which brings me to you, because you actually live my dream. I don't know if you know that or not.
To make like to live from chess, but without being a chess player. Yeah.
From a different perspective, which is unique. So I definitely admire you, everything you do. It's more, I can relate to you more, even though I'm just starting, you know, you're like way up here, but at least I have the opportunity to even speak with you.
But I know exactly what you mean. And like, I think when you get into chess, I think a lot of people don't realize how hard it is to actually become a grandmaster. Like, it's no joke.
It's no joke.
Yeah.
And I'm like 0-50 against grandmasters, and I come to realization it's improbable. I usually speak with them, play them, kind of learn from them. I don't learn too much though, because a lot of the things they do don't make sense, and it's hard to even explain.
Yeah.
But definitely appreciate you taking your time. I won't take too much of your time. Obviously, I'm Jafar. Now, where did you just come from? I know you were just.
I was at the Freestyle.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You know, I watched that. I was on a flight from Mexico. I just landed like 2 days ago. Watching Fabi and Magnus. I had downloaded the video. That was one of the best games I've ever witnessed.
Crazy.
That recovery. You were commentating during that?
No, I was doing the hosting. So before the game starts, like if you watch the stream back, like I'm always on stage and I draw the next position and I host the event. And then I did the winner interview with Magnus after.
Wow, that's so cool. I did see on your Instagram, but I was looking at one. Have you uploaded that yet?
The interview, no, I barely. It's on the broadcast. If you go back on the live broadcast to see that, I don't post that much stuff. I mostly just post some photos after.
Yeah. I was watching one you did with Magnus a while ago. I think it was freestyle as well.
Inside, yeah, probably last. I mean, I've been at all the freestyle events, so you might have seen some of that.
Yeah.
Or maybe you saw something from the content day when I talked to Magnus about like these short Instagram videos. Maybe you saw some of that.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. And I know that it's funny because I do little prep, as crazy as it sounds, before I speak with someone. I do little prep, which kind of makes it a little more natural because I'm a curious guy and I'm able to kind of wing it, you know, just from being me. And I know that you accidentally started interviewing players. Can you walk me through what that means? Like when you accidentally.
Are we taping already?
Yeah, see what I mean?
Oh.
I don't even like. I don't even like.
That's so funny. I thought we were just having a casual little chat. Yeah, so
that's how I do my thing, you know. It's just casual.
I love it. I love it. I was just like, I wasn't sure if you want the quick version and wait for later for me to give it. Yeah, so basically, I'd been playing chess I started playing chess as a child around 8 or 9, and I played a lot of chess until until I was a student at university. And I played too much chess because I was not improving anymore. Like once I reached that 2200-ish level, I became a woman international master. And then I started stagnating. And I remember in 2014, so 12 years ago at this point.
Wow.
Exactly around this sort of time, I was supposed to play Reykjavik Open. That was going to happen in the spring of 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And I just suddenly I felt like I've played too much. I was burnt out. I didn't
Yeah.
want to play anymore. And I'd been to Reykjavik Open a few times. I was quite friendly with the organizers. And so I messaged them. I was getting some conditions. I can't remember exactly, but some help with some support with accommodation and food. And so I reached out to them and I said, look, I very much still want to come, but I don't want to play. So maybe instead of playing, I could help you with just taking some photos, do a bit of social media. And they said, sure. And then when I showed up there, they said, actually, do you want to commentate? I was like, wow, because I'd never commentated before. And I was like, sure. And that's sort of how it started. And I did a couple of events that year. I mean, I was still in university until I graduated from university in summer of 2015. So I'd gotten a little bit of experience by then. Then I was hired by Chess24 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up working for Chess24 all of 2016. And since the start of 2017, I've been doing what I do now, which is just be a freelancer and work on all kinds of different events.
So right now you're freelance, but I know
I'm
you so you do own a brand though, right? Where you kind of do your media, or you just still freelance?
I don't own a brand, no. So I mean, my people might know me as Fionchetta. I also
Mm-hmm.
I've been streaming. Well, I did stream. I now stream very, very, very rarely. So the Fionchetta brand, but it's just me. It's just one person. I don't have a business or anything. So it's just freelancer
Yeah,
Fionchetta.
absolutely. That gives me insight too, because as someone that's standalone, or I'm not with chess.com, Lee Chess, anything like that. I kind of just built my brand just to help a little, because there's a lot of credibility within chess. They want to see who you're representing, who you're behind
Of
with your
course.
brand. So I kind of started my own to kind of help me, which has been beneficial. Obviously, things has changed with chess and media these days, where there's a lot of influencers and things of that nature online. So that's really cool. Now I know you as well. Obviously, Tata Steel. You've been doing that for a long time, right?
Yeah, so Tata Steel, I've been part of the team of the media team. I've done different roles in Tata Steel. I used to do some commentary, mixed with interviews, and now for the last few years, I've been focused solely on the interviews, and then a bit of hosting, the opening ceremony, the closing ceremony, and I've been part of that team since 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a fair few years. Before that, I'd been to the tournament in 2016 when I was working for Chess24. So I was there on site in 2016 representing Chess24. And I was there in 2010, and in 2005 was actually my first visit. Those two times I was there just as a chess fan. So
Yeah,
it's been quite the journey, but it's really nice to be part of the team now. And I have to say, it's just such a special event, and it
it
really
is.
feels like family. And I love going back every year.
I remember I said I don't do any prep. How do you prep when you're going to interview someone? Do you because there's a cliche thing of asking the same questions, where I hate saying, "Well, when did you start playing?" or "Well,
Well, my interviews are kind of different, right? Because I mostly interview the players
post game."
post game. So I do very, very few interviews, kind of like you do, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, let's get to meet this person. Um, so my interviews are much more specific in a tournament situation. As to my prep, it really depends on the event. I remember when I was starting out, I would often write down a few questions. Um, but I've been doing this now for over
Yeah.
10 years, so you get a lot of experience. You get to know the players. I think I don't really prepare the questions in writing per se anymore, also because of the main tournament where I work as an interviewer is Tata Steel. And there are, 14 players in the Masters, 14 players in the Challengers. So every day there's 14 games going on that I could potentially do an interview. So it's just too hard to prepare questions for every single person in advance. So during Tata Steel, my prep is basically I just follow the broadcast, the commentary throughout the day. I follow the games. I'm not the strongest chess player, but I'm good enough to sort of understand what's happening. To understand what's happening in the games, and in the interviews. I think it's partly what you said, right? It's one of the things I've learned over the years is before that it was more like, okay, here are all the questions I want to ask them. But now it's also a lot about actually listening what they are saying and maybe pick up on a few things. So yeah, I would also say, and I feel I'm better when it's natural, when it's not like, oh dear, I need to remember what I wanted to ask. Because it also, I think in interviews, it's really important to understand what sort of mood the person you're interviewing is it. Are they willing to chat more? Are they tired? Are they, so there is no formula. It's just every single interview I will adapt to who I'm talking to how they're feeling, to how their game went. But that, is something that just comes naturally. I would say I've evolved and improved a lot, obviously, as an interviewer over the years. It's, and people these days, I do quite often get compliments for my interviews, which I appreciate, but it's not like I didn't start out like that, right? This is years and years and years of experience coming together.
You do pretty well, I feel like, at mediating things. Obviously, when someone loses, the last thing they want to have is like a microphone in their face displaying all their errors. I feel like you do pretty well at managing the temperature in the room. There's some players that storm off or don't take any questions. How do you kind of like gauge that? Because I feel like everyone's pretty respectful for you for the most part, as far as what I've seen.
Yeah, to be fair, in chess, we do very few interviews with players who have just lost the game. I would say what's more likely is that I might interview someone after they've drawn and they are not happy because they were better or something. But then it's really, I think, a lot about what makes a good interviewer is also just empathy, right? I think the players, one of the things you have to do to get a good interview is to make them feel comfortable, to make them feel at ease, to give them the space to express themselves. And so, again, I think it helps that I am a chess player, to begin with. And so, even though you can never relate to their emotions 100%. If I've seen the game, I will understand, what happened, how they feel. So it's really a case-by-case basis, and it's a lot about just, giving them the space and making them comfortable.
What would be the hardest part of your job, you would say?
It's funny you would ask that today, because just 2 days ago, I was at the Freestyle World Championship, and we did a live on air right before the closing ceremony. We did interviews. I did interviews. One interview with Magnus after the final, and one interview with Fabi, who had just lost the final to Magnus in really heartbreaking fashion. And that third game, he was completely winning. He ended up losing. It likely cost him the title. And to be honest, it was really hard talking to Fabi. Fabi is a friend as well. It was clear that he was devastated. And to be honest, I think the interview was a little awkward, is maybe not the right way, but I obviously know he didn't, he's not in the mood to answer any questions. And I know it's complete heartbreak, and I'm not even sure, what can I even ask him in the spot, because I know how he feels, right? And talking to me and talking about what happened is the last thing you want to do in that spot. And it was one of the first times in a very long time that I had talked to someone who just lost such an important match. So that was challenging. It was, it's not pleasant. It's never pleasant to talk to someone who's just lost a really devastating, especially to lose in such a way. So there are challenges like that, but in general, I'm very fortunate that what I do, it's something that I really love. And because most of the time I get to talk to players who just won their games or their tournaments. So yeah, obviously there's always new challenges, but it's not necessarily just in interviews. It's more, last year I went on tour with GothamChess, and I suddenly was standing on a big stage and talking in front of a big live audience, something which I'd never done in that way before, where kind of, you're literally on the stage and all eyes are on you. Of course, Gotham is the star of the show, but I'm the host, so it's my job to make him look good and to make the show good. So that was an interesting challenge. So, and it's always, it's always nice to do something, to learn something new, to get to work in a new environment. So most challenges are good challenges that make me grow as a host,
Absolutely.
as an interviewer. But sometimes you just, you have to do an interview that's just not fun, and that's a part of sports, right? In sport, there's always going to be one winner, one loser, and talking to the person who's just suffered a loss is never going to be a fun experience,
Yeah, so sort of just like being okay with getting uncomfortable. And it's funny that you said that, because when I was watching that, it was round 3, right? On the plane, I had my headphones in and I watched that interview. I didn't even like dawn on it, like who was interviewing them, where you kind of asked him, how do you move on from this? And he was like, I'll probably forget about it tomorrow. Yeah, that was a tough one. I'm sure in the receiving end, I could feel the pain in him, especially how big that moment is, where I don't think he's won a freestyle yet, and he gets so close every time. Oh, that was a great interview.
Thank you.
It's
Well,
unfortunate.
I think it was. I don't know if it, it certainly wasn't one of my best, and it helps, of course, that, as I said, I would consider Fabi as a friend, and we're both in a spot where I've interviewed him a million times before, and most cases when I interview him, he's just won something or he's in a good mood, and here we both kind of understand. I understand he doesn't want to be there, and I think and I hope he also understands that it's not, for me, it's not fun either and in a sense, I know there's not much I can ask him, it was just a really tough match for him, and, I lost it in such heartbreaking fashion. So in those spots, I think the main thing I can do is just show some empathy, and it was clear it was never going to be a happy interview, but I think it's also important in a sense to show that side, right? Chess isn't all about, it's not all about the winners. I mean, there are people who, there are games you lose that are truly, truly devastating.
Absolutely. And there's a fine line between, because even on my end, of what the fans want to see, where it's not always what we want to see or the player wants to see, They love those, what the players wants to say after the loss, That gets probably more views than the winner, which is unfortunate, especially in that situation when you're friends with them. At the same time, just being respectful and not trying to be gossipy, clickbaity, things of that nature. That's some valuable insight right there, more than a grandmaster could ever show me, because nothing what they do.
Well, the grandmasters could give you a lot of insights from chess, which I could not. So
they say
I'm going to stick to my area of expertise.
All they tell me is puzzles. I'm like, I hear that a million times every day.
That's
like,
what I tell people too. So
puzzles. Work on your puzzles. I played Giga not too long ago. And he's like, just think. I'm like, that's great. It's great advice. I'm overthinking here. I don't know if you know this, but I'm thinking as hard as I can. But that's definitely great. Now, I did want to ask you, did you get your name from the Fionchetta bishop? Is that where it, okay. I thought
did,
so.
yeah. It took me quite a long time to come up with it. I remember at some point when I became a freelancer and I was now my own, my own person rather than working for Chess24, I thought it would be very cool to have a nickname. I've always been very good friends with Simon Williams, who goes by the Ginger GM, and I always thought I want to have something like that. I didn't want to go just by Fiona Chess, or I thought I can come up with something a little more funky than
It's cool.
that. And so I started thinking, I was brainstorming with two friends of mine. One of them was David Howell, the other was my friend Vladimir.
Legend.
Yeah, legend of the game. The other was my friend Vladimir from Moldova. And we just thought of all the chess terms, that start with F. And obviously, I mean, I could never reveal the extent of our brainstorming because there were some crazy ideas in that. And I was like, guys, it still needs to be a little sensible.
Yeah.
And then eventually Fionchetta came up. And so basically I just mixed Fionchetta with Fiona, right? You just invert the O and the A. So
I was wondering if it was coincidence or was it on purpose?
No, that was on purpose. So
that was one of the big questions.
It's a word play simply on Fionchetta mixed with Fiona. And so Fionchetta was born. She was born almost 10 years ago, and I've never looked back.
They call me Blundermus, unfortunately, because I blunder a lot.
I like that as well.
Which brings me, because it's usually tradition where I have a wall of shame now, where I have all these losses against great players. It's almost like a museum, like the Sistine Chapel. When you look at my accounts and you see, wow, look over there. Even Kramnik is way over there. Like, oh my God, who is this guy, right? And I would love to have you on there. Now, I did see, obviously, when I Magnus the players, everyone likes Blitz too long, Rapid too long. And I did see that that's your favorite game type. Like you love bullet, right?
It's funny you should ask about the bullet, because so as I said, I used to stream. I barely stream any longer. But I had one day that went so well on stream, and I got to my rating, which is 24 in bullet. Let me quickly pull it up. 24-12, right? And I have not played. I was so happy to cross 2400 that I did something completely insane. I just
retired.
I stopped playing.